Good morning to you. It is Open Line Wednesday before Thanksgiving. For the first time in many years, I am doing open lines today. So that doesn't mean the text line. That means the phone lines are open. If you want to call in, talk about anything you want on this Wednesday before Thanksgiving. There's a lot going on, and I'm going to take a couple of calls here in a couple of minutes. But I want to talk a little bit about, number one, a great interview that I'm looking forward to coming up in the 7 o'clock hour, right after the 7 o'clock news, and that is going to be Brent Sandler from the Heritage Foundation, and we're going to be talking about the possibility that the war between Ukraine and Russia is about to be done. We'll have to wait and see what happens. I'm going to tell you, I don't mean to be a Danny Downer on the Wednesday before Thanksgiving. I am a little cynical. But we'll see what happens. I've seen Vladimir Putin over the years and read enough about him to know that he comes to these agreements and then for whatever reason, he just decides that he no longer agrees with the agreements and he continues to do what he does. So we'll see what happens. So I've got that interview coming up at 7 o'clock. I've got some topics on the economy coming up. We had some great economic news yesterday, as a matter of fact. I feel like, Joan, and help me if I'm mistaken here.
Okay.
But it feels like Trump has perhaps regained his footing after a really bad, probably week or two. Because remember, for like a week or two, we had the 600,000 Chinese students, which is still a problem.
Yeah.
We had
bad midterms.
Bad midterm. Well, the special elections, the bad special election in New York and New Jersey and all. Not New Jersey. Yeah, New Jersey. New York, New Jersey, Virginia, and some others. And, of course, we all know that we also have a big disagreement going on as it relates to importing talent, right? So these are some pretty big issues among MAGA. But it also does seem like the president hears us, he understands us, and they are now going to turn around and focus big time on the economy. And Joan, coming up here in a little bit, I don't want to hit you with it right away, but what was the big economic news yesterday? Do you have that in front of you? I don't want to spring it on you, but I know that we had some pretty good economic news yesterday. And so I've got audio only here, if I could, Sam. While Joan's looking up that, I do find it interesting. Speaker of the House Mike Johnson, he calls into, of course, the Matt Murphy show yesterday, talking about supporting Matt Van Epps.
The entire country is watching this race, okay? It's the only game on the map right now. It's a special election, and it is for all the marbles. You've seen how small the margins are, how small the majority is in the House Republican Conference. And to keep this train on the tracks, to keep delivering on the America First agenda, to keep President Trump's, all of his plans and agendas moving forward, we have got to get Matt Van Epps elected in this special seat. There's 1 day left for early voting.
Yeah, and that is, of course, today. And that was, Speaker of the House Mike Johnson, calling into WTN and Murphy Show. I loved it. And even Fox News.
He should win. 22 points Trump won by, but that was made vacant by Mark Green's retirement. It's a heavily Republican district, and thank goodness he should win. 22.
Talking about Matt Van Epps.
2 points Trump won by, but listen, Ken Martin and Kamala Harris were there. They just spent $1 million in ads. They must be seeing something in the polls. If she's even close, Republicans, that's a wake-up call. Oh, she's even close.
Without a doubt.
Right. So
Ken Martin, DNC chair, and Kamala Harris.
And you're right, Joan. We talked about that last night, that report from Fox News, where they're talking about how if Afton Bain is even close, then it is a wake-up call. Can I tell you something, though? I actually don't mind wake-up calls for the Republican Party.
Oh,
What about you, Joan?
Yeah.
I think we could go back. We could go back and look at what happened in those special elections in New York and Virginia and so forth. We could look back and think, you know what? That was a valuable lesson, that wake-up call. And so I think that might very well be a good thing, because I do believe that it got Donald Trump's attention. I do. We've got the battle between Donald Trump and Marjorie Taylor Greene and so forth. I totally get that. The two sides, America First and MAGA, I totally get all that. But right now, I think that now that we've seen just how bad Afton Bain is here in the 7th and how the entire country is looking at our, Middle Tennessee in the 7th Congressional District, I think that this does give the Republicans an opportunity really to reset a little bit. And so go ahead, Joan. I heard you.
You want to hear about what
go ahead,
happened yesterday?
Quick.
So yesterday there were two reports, and one was that consumer confidence had fallen. So not good for the stock market. But Secretary Scott Bessent told CNBC that there's a very good chance that there'll be an announcement before Christmas on who will be the next Fed chair, and that there's going to be a rate cut that it will be at least 0.25% coming up next week when the Fed meets again for their rate setting. So the traders are pricing an 85% chance of a 0.25 percentage point cut from the Fed.
Okay.
But I'm actually hearing that some of the Fed governors are calling for an even bigger rate cut. So if it's a 0.5 percentage point, that would be like what would actually move the market.
Okay, very good.
Yeah.
And we'll have to wait and see what happens. I think that there are good things ahead for the economy in 2026 based on some of the tax cuts that we have seen in the big, beautiful bill. I do believe that people are going to have more money in their pocket. We'll have to see ultimately where that goes. But I get the consumer confidence because there is a lot of doomsaying, and I'm not saying the economy is perfect. There's a lot of doomsaying, though, within the media as well, because, they're just itching for bad economic news so that they can take it to Donald Trump. This is Dan calling from Gallatin on Super Talk 99.7. Hey, Dan, go ahead.
Yes, sir. I just like to talk about medical marijuana, not for me, but for my wife. A little background, she had an accident when she was like 10 years old, blew all the discs out of her back. She's had surgery on her neck. She's diabetic. Now she has surgery on her shoulder. Used to be an addict. I got her off all that stuff. And the Republicans and the Democrats can't seem to get together to get the medical marijuana law passed. And it's killing me because I can't get her back on the oxycodone and the Meprigan and all that stuff.
So have you? I don't want to act as your Dan. I don't want to act as your drug pusher, but I'm hearing you talk about oxycodone and some of these other things. Have you tried gummies?
Yes, sir. I have. The gummies don't really do anything for her.
Okay.
I have to go to Illinois and buy them legally over there because Tennessee doesn't have enough common sense to legalize it here.
Listen, when it comes to medicinal marijuana, Dan, you and I are in total agreement, and I appreciate the call and wish you the best of luck. By the way, I was actually talking to a very important state lawmaker yesterday, Joan.
Yeah.
And you know what I did?
What did you do, Dan?
I filed my official complaint about medicinal marijuana.
Oh, good. I
said, you guys are off this. Like you guys are. I actually said to this guy, you are wrong on medicinal marijuana. I know, and I know I've said this before. I'm sorry, but I know a bunch of conservatives, and most of them are for medicinal marijuana. Do you know what the only conservatives I know that are against medicinal marijuana are in the state legislature? Dadgummit. Coming up, let me see if I can pull it up real quickly. Apparently, Donald Trump, I don't know if you saw this, Joan. Donald Trump has been actually tweeting about Afton Bain. Let me see if I can find it real quick.
Way.
That's what I'm told by my friend Erin. She says that Donald Trump was tweeting about Afton Bain. I got to see if I can find it. She says it's on my Twitter, but I'm not able to. It's not jumping. Here it is right here. All right, you want to hear what Donald Trump said about Afton Bain?
Yeah.
All right. He says, I'm asking all America First patriots in Tennessee's 7th Congressional District who have not voted yet to please get out and vote for MAGA warrior Matt Van Epps.
Nice.
Tomorrow, November 26th, the last day to vote early in person, which, by the way, that's today. You can win this election for Matt. Please vote on Matt Van Epps, who has my complete and total endorsement. Polls close at 12 p.m. noon. In most of TN07 and every vote counts. If you are in line by 12 p.m., stay in line, and they must let you vote Tennessee 7, early voting ends November 26th, and Election Day. And he says that Matt Van Epps will never let you down. And there you go. All right, so I like that the president is doing that. And I think that the president understands how important this is. Ken is calling from Nashville. And Ken, what's going on?
Hey, good morning, Dan. I'm a big podcast listener, and I was wondering when your Mostly Peaceful podcast with Dan and Chris, you got any new episodes coming up anytime soon?
Well, gee, Ken, it's some funny you should ask. Thank you for the layup. So they always drop on Saturday morning, right around 6. We've got one coming up this Saturday. We also taped one. I'm not sure when it's going to air. We'll ask Chris when he comes in. I just sit there and talk. But we also did one for Thanksgiving. And so, yeah, but every Saturday morning, folks, it is Mostly Peaceful with Dan and Chris. And it's one of my favorite times of the week. Sit down. Chris and I go back and forth. We start jawing at each other. Not that I don't love commercials, but no commercials, no nothing. It is just like 45 minutes of stream of conscious conversation. So it's a lot of fun. Do you like Mostly Peaceful with Dan and Chris there, Ken?
Yeah, I've only listened to just a couple of them. The latest one was back in mid-August, actually. So that's why I was calling to ask.
Well, we got a whole bunch of new ones up there. I mean, we every week, for the most part, every week we've put them up. You know, we had something happen with the notifications, Ken. I don't know. This is not my department, but something's going on with the notifications. Find the podcast on all the streaming services. You can go to YouTube, type in Mostly Peaceful with Dan and Chris, and it is right there. It is rapidly expanding when it's not. Let's see. Steve is in Colioca on Super Talk. Hey, Steve, go ahead.
Good morning. I just want to call in and say that my wife and I really like you guys. Y'all have great chemistry, and we just wake up on Saturday morning and Sunday morning, and y'all are not the same. The weekend is not the same without you guys on there.
Oh, well, thank you, Steve. Well, here's the thing. You know, you can always listen to Mostly Peaceful with Dan and Chris. All right. Thank you, Steve. You know what?
This is too funny.
And thank you, Steve. Go ahead, Joan.
I'm on X right now watching some of the responses to an Afton Beam post. She says, good morning. Did you hear 2 more days of early voting? So this was yesterday. Please turn out. And the responses are hysterical. Jonah said, you can count on me to never vote for your unhinged ideology.
Keep
Afton
going.
Bain, 2 left for Tennessee. Yeah. Dang, you are mentally unstable.
Oh.
and there's the video of her being pulled out of Governor Lee's office.
Yeah.
Another one I can't even talk about because she said something, and I'm going to have to send this to you. You've got to be the one to
say what this says.
Yeah, I can't do that one.
All right.
Good morning, Tennessee. And did you hear Afton won't tell you her positions on issues such as defunding police or anything else because they're all terrible. I mean, the responses that she's getting, Comrade Bain, Tennessee cops know who you are and what you represent.
Oh, well, yeah. And that's the thing. I don't really understand why I'm befuddled and confused by the fact that she refuses to acknowledge that she does want to defund the police. And I went through all of this yesterday. Maybe it's because she's afraid that would further activate the Republicans. Do you think that she's activated the Republicans, Sam and John?
I was actually going to say that's exactly what I think it is.
Yeah.
You beat me to it on it. But the point being that, when you said earlier example, great here in-house, Dan doesn't remember potentially saying that he doesn't want to talk to anybody on Red Eye. Okay, but those are words that you spoke, and if we could go find a recording, that'd be one thing. But when you type something out and you post it out onto the internet for people to screenshot and then throw back in your face, you don't get to say, I don't remember saying that.
Right. I mean, she has said it. She has posted it. And by the way, let's not forget that all of this started with Afton Bain when she put out a video bullying ICE.
Yes.
So I
here's another one. I'm so glad you're on X. You're pretty as a picture and bat-ass nuts.
Is she pretty as a picture?
I think she's a pretty lady.
I think, you know what? I think she's, I think I said yesterday, I think she's fetching. But then again, I think Marjorie Taylor Greene is cute. Kyle is on line 1 on Super Talk. Hey, Kyle, go ahead.
Yes. Excuse me. I think that was extraordinary nice saying for Trump about Van Epps, but that lady Afton Bain, I saw a clip whereas she batted her eye right at the last, and if you'll check it out, you'll see that I wouldn't trust that woman. She's just like a brick. I wouldn't trust her no further than I could throw her. Even my Bible tells me, man that shuffles his feet, waves his hands, bats his eye, is not to be trusted.
All right, Kyle, thank you very much, man. I appreciate that. Joan, make sure I never bat my eyes.
Okay. I will make sure you never do that.
That could be a stroke, by the way, too. So, call the ambulance.
You'd smell burnt toast and your face would freeze in a funny position.
There is that, too. Joan, Sam just hit me with just a real quick headline on that because I think this is so funny and so typical. So apparently Mayor Mamdani out there in New York and the New York City Council, I guess, they have snuck in raises. Stop me when you've heard this before from the Senate, right?
Oh, my gosh.
So in New York, where Mamdani is, of course, everyone's favorite communist, right? Apparently they snuck in raises in a piece of legislation, and this happened here in the last day or two?
Yeah, so the New York Post has it. It was apparently put in yesterday. I'm going to check here in a second to see if it was approved in any way. But it was a bill to approve a 16% pay raise for city council members, increasing their salaries from $148,500 to $172,500. And the incoming Mayor Mamdani would see his salary rise from $258,000 to nearly $300,000.
Oh, my gosh.
So you make almost as much as the president to be the mayor of New York.
Well, and he's going to destroy the city of New York as well. We'll have
President
to see.
Trump doesn't take his paychecks, so.
Yeah, he donates.
You know what? Mamdani should do what his buddy Donald Trump does. And take
the $1 a year.
He ought to donate it to the police force is what Mamdani ought to do. Did you hear that he came out in support of New York's police department?
Yeah, for a second. He also posted a video.
It's kind of squishy.
He posted a video the other day with a trans activist talking about how they're going to make New York City a safe haven for trans kids. So he's kowtowing to everybody right now. But the second
is that what he's doing? He's like kowtowing not only to the police but the trans kids and
I'm
the
everybody's
trans community.
Friend. I'm the people's mayor.
Yeah. All right.
Clown.
Well, we'll see. We'll see what happens. But people were upset because he came out and he did support the NYPD. And I don't know if he's trying to backtrack on that or, being a very, what's the right word? Like just sort of embracing them or endorsing them, falling obviously short now that he's the guy in charge eventually of defunding the police, which is obviously what he wants to do. He can't really do that by himself anyway. But I do find it interesting where you have Mamdani where and we've kind of seen this, and I'm not making comparisons, okay? But there's some people like Mamdani where they talk big, and we've seen this with people in the Trump administration. You folks know that this is true. Just go with me here. So within the Trump administration, you've got Pam Bondi, you've got Dan Bongino, and you've got Kash Patel. By the way, in the news today, rumors that Donald Trump was about to fire Kash Patel. The president says that is not the case. Maybe I'll get into that here in a little bit. But you had these three, and they kept talking about how if they were in charge of the Epstein files and all of this stuff, I mean, it was like ad nauseum for years. And so then Trump says, okay, let's put you in charge and see how you do. And I think that we can all agree that they've shanked it when it comes to the Epstein situation. I'm wondering if Mamdani is going to, and I'm not comparing the two, but I wonder if Mamdani is going to be kind of the same thing where, he talks about, we're going to defund the police and, we're going to spend billions of dollars for, trans surgeries and procedures, and we're going to raise the taxes on the rich people of New York and, all of these things that he wants to do. And it's all a lot of words until you get into office. You get put into office, and then all of a sudden you've got to do all of the things that you've promised to do. And I just don't know if he's going to be able to do it. He made a lot of promises. And I think that there's going to be a lot of people who are going to be very disappointed in what ultimately happens because, number one, he can't do everything that he wanted to do because you've got to go through, the city council, you've got state legislators, you've got the governor. The mayor can only do so much by himself. And so it's going to be really interesting to see how that whole thing plays out. This is Calvin on Super Talk 99.7. Calvin, go ahead. By the way, it is open line to Wednesday before Thanksgiving. Whatever you want to talk about, go ahead and call right in. Calvin, what's up?
I was just going to say, I guess the left has lied to us again. They said no one was above the law, but it's looking like Letitia James and James Comey's heading in that direction of being above the law, and it just sickens me.
I would, Calvin, I appreciate the call. Remember that case, and I had a big, long conversation with Jonathan Fahey about that yesterday. The cases against Letitia James and James Comey, they were, I guess it's the right word is dismissed, but without prejudice. In other words, they can bring that right back. As a matter of fact, Donald Trump, I need some video here if I could. Donald Trump talked about two things on Air Force One. He talked about, because Comey is out there, I don't know if you've seen this. James Comey is out there running a victory lap saying, I told you that I would prevail and all this kind of stuff. Basically, the cases were dismissed by a judge because the judge said that Lindsay Halligan was unlawfully appointed. And so, but the judge did say that I am dismissing this without prejudice, which means that the Trump administration can just sort of reset and start all over again. This is Donald Trump aboard Air Force One. And by the way, if you want a lot more on that, Calvin, check out the podcast page because we did do a big interview with Jonathan Fahey on that yesterday, that very topic. And basically what Fahey says, and he's a highfalutin lawyer, is the president and his administration, they can just bring this right back, going about this another way and with another person. But Donald Trump was asked about just that, about whether or not Kash Patel was going to get fired. The word is, and I don't know, I didn't pay real close attention to this story. I don't know, Joan, if you did. I don't know if you did, Sam. Kash Patel is in trouble, apparently, according to some, because he's got this girlfriend now. And apparently he was using the Secret Service to protect his girlfriend.
Yeah.
And I guess taking flights on government planes, I guess.
If that's true, either
that's a no-no.
Put a ring on it or stop it.
Just put a ring on it.
Well, if it was his wife, we wouldn't have any problem with that, right? Am I right?
I guess not.
Okay.
I guess you're right. Okay, Joan, you're right. I was more laughing at the put a ring on it.
Yeah.
Just because that's like from the 60s.
Because I'm so hip. Oh, it is?
Put a ring on it? It's from the 60s. This is what Donald Trump said about Kash Patel. Are you going to fire Kash Patel? And also, what about James Comey and this victory lap?
Are you planning to replace Kash Patel as
No, he's doing a good job.
This week,
Kash Patel? No, he's doing a great job, I think.
This week we saw those cases against James Comey and Letitia James tossed out. Do you still have faith in Lindsay Halligan?
Oh, she's great. I think she's great. They got out on a technicality, and you'll see what happens from here on. But if you look at the actual charge.
Actually, Trump is right. That's a great way to put it. It was dismissed on like a technicality.
Yeah,
so
it was about Halligan's appointment, not the merits of any alleged criminal action.
Correct. It was not about the merits.
I think anybody that looks at it very fairly would say, boy, are they guilty.
Especially, I mean, we've gone through the James Comey. We've gone through the Letitia James case. And I think both of them, I believe, says the conservative who supports Donald Trump, I believe they got them both dead to rights. We'll have to see ultimately what happens. I will say this because Mark, I think it was Mark that called up and was complaining about that, thinking he said, Trump said, and everybody says no one is above the law, but it sounds like Letitia James and James Comey may very well be above the law. When it comes to things like this, and maybe I'll ask Brian Wilson this at 7:35 when he joins us, but when it comes to things like this, unfortunately, the wheels of justice, they move very, very, very slowly, sometimes grinding to a halt because we are dealing with swamp-laden lawyers as well. And I appreciate the call. I opened up the radio broadcast with this morning. We were just kind of bouncing around on a bunch of different topics this morning, the Wednesday before Thanksgiving. This is the headline from Newsweek. Afton Bain, of course, in the 7th. Today is the last day of early voting. And Afton Bain is, according to the Poly Market, the chances of her becoming the congressperson for the 7th Congressional District have plummeted after we got to know Afton Bain. Revelations about Democratic candidate Afton Bain might make it more difficult for her party to win a special election in Tennessee. Betting odds indicate Bain, a state legislator standing against Republican Matt Van Epps to fill the seat, has seen her stock value drop. According to Poly Market, since all of these videos and all of the past interviews have come out, Bain's chances of winning the election have decreased from 28% on November 5th to 12% on November 25th. So, yeah, look, obviously this is good for our side. If you're a conservative, I think that is great. We'll have to see what happens next because we do have today being the last day of early voting, and then we have the big day of voting on December 2nd. And so I have been, and all of us here on WTN have been imploring folks, please go out and vote early, vote often, and vote on the 2nd.
Vote often, Dan? You could be charged for that.
Could I?
Yeah. Criminally.
Well, Sam put that in my script. This is Brian in Madison on WTN. Hey, Brian.
Hey, Dan, happy Thanksgiving to all you guys. I listen to you every day and appreciate you.
Thank you.
I want to confess something, though. I kind of lied to Sam.
Okay.
Can I do that?
Sure. Go ahead.
He asked me what I wanted to talk about, and I said various things. Really, you know what I want to talk about? I remember back in the day when you hired Chris Hand, right? Remember that? I'm sure you do.
Sure.
He's a star, dude.
Oh, Chris Hand is a rock star.
Yes. Well, I mean, under you, right?
Sure. Yeah. Yeah,
okay,
you know
I
what? The first time, so some great Chris Hand moments. The first time Chris worked as my producer, I was behind the microphone. Chris was sitting in Sam's chair. And he and I started going back and forth, and I knew immediately he was a star in training. And Chris comes from a music background, and he's wicked smart. And so the second I actually gave him the tryout, I think it was a couple of years ago when we gave him the tryout, filling in. And I thought, okay, this dude's got it. Little rough around the edges, but there was such, there's just so much to work with. And he's done a great job, and people love him.
Well, I, for that reason, I hate that you're not in management anymore because I think of all things you do, which is pretty good, I guess. You've been there a long time. You're a great hire. You put together unbelievable teams. And so that's why I said I lied to Sam. Can I tell you why?
Sure.
Because I think Sam sits in the same kind of seat. I think one day he'll have his own. He's very smart. He's very cordial. Mm-hmm. He's professional. And you already see it. You may not. I'm sure you do.
I see it. Sure. Yeah.
But that kid right there is a rising star. And that's all I wanted to say. Thank y'all and have a great day.
All right, Brian, thank you very much. I appreciate it. Sam, how much did you pay him for that?
I'd put money on it that he did.
I'd put money, what, 10, 15, $20 you pay him off of that, Sam? Is that what it was?
Definitely gave me something to brag about at Thanksgiving tomorrow, Brian. Thank you for that. It was very kind.
Thanks, Dad. Sam, you know I'm just kidding.
My dad's name is Paul.
Whatever. All right, it is.
You have a brother named Brian, though, don't you?
Nope, his name is Noah.
It is 6:50 on Nashville's Morning News on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. We've been playing. I love that Mike Johnson was able to call into the radio program for Matt Murphy. Another great hire. You're welcome. I'm just kidding. I also hired Joan Jones before she quit and then came back.
Right.
Anyway, so I do like that Mike Johnson, again, he did call into the Matt Murphy show yesterday. And they talked about how we really do need to bring in Matt Van Epps for the 7th Congressional District. This is part of what he had to say regarding what Donald Trump is trying to do and what is going on in Congress right now.
Listen, we've got to get reinforcements. We need Matt Van Epps to join the team here because this guy is pure Tennessee, man. He's pure Nashville. We love him. He's a husband. He's a dad. He's an America First patriot, a combat veteran who is going to help us to continue to deliver secure borders, safe streets, lower taxes, a strong economy, peace through strength. We need a West Point graduate, a lieutenant colonel in the Tennessee Army National Guard to join our forces in D.C., and he is the perfect man at the perfect time in history.
So we'll have to see how this whole thing shakes out on December 2nd. I am feeling pretty good. I think that, you know what's interesting? The lack of, what's the right way to put this? Did Afton Bain not know this was going to happen? With all of this stuff that she has done do you know that the last thing that I would ever do, for example, is run for office? Because I know all the dumb things that I've said over the years and done over the years and posted over the years. I would never in a million years want to run for political office. But she, despite all of these things that she has said and done, screaming from the balcony of the state legislature, being dragged out of Governor Lee's office. And she thought that it would be a good idea to run for the 7th Congressional District. And I think that there's a reason why she just squeaked by in the primary, right? She just squeaked by in the primary. Matt Van Epps, he won by what, like 51%? And so you would have just thought that she would understand that once people realize that she was, I mean, she's more than just leftist. I mean, I do believe that she's a little bent. She's just a wackadoo. Bent. That's a very good word for it. Afton Bain is bent.
You know, like the nail that won't drive straight into the board.
Sure. Exactly.
Which, and to contrast the two candidates even further apart, there was a big field in the Republican Party, obviously, and what did they do? They all got together and they had a bury the hatchet ceremony.
That's right.
I don't hear of anything happening on the other side to that degree, to have that decorum about yourselves, to know that the mission is bigger than your position within it.
And as a matter of fact, Matt Van Epps brought the hatchet in.
So cool.
Everybody signed the hatchet. I think that's great.
And he was wise enough to have a blade guard on that thing when he handed it to you.
You know what's so funny? Did you see when he brought that in? Did you see what I did? The first thing that I did, I touched what I thought was the blade.
Okay, Dan.
And he actually said, "It's a good thing I've got a blade guard on there, Mandis." Yeah.
Hey, when the stove gets orange, that means it's hot.